Welcome to Next Topic Podcast, where the only rule is to stay on topic and no topic is off limits. My name is Lo.
I'm Shy.
I'm Cam.
And today we're missing
Abel.
As you can see, he's a little under the weather, so.
Under it, folded, child.
We wish you well, Abel. Get well soon, but you know, the show must go on.
Yeah, Abel. Don't have
So-
the Rona now.
Hopefully you don't have the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Today's topic, we're going to be talking about T.I. again. Did we talk about
We
it?
talked about last year.
It's
I'm
sad
tired
to
of
say that
talking
we have
about
to
this
talk
nigga.
about him again.
Mhm.
But this is something that
Oh, before we get started, can we say this is our first episode of the new year, right?
it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, all these months and years now are just like
So welcome to 2021.
Damn.
I know. And it's our first episode of the year. So y'all, we've been doing this for a whole year. It's like, it's our anniversary. So let me just call that out while we're here. But go back to the thoughts now.
yeah. So T.I.
T.I. has.
T.I. has a podcast called Expeditiously.
Yeah, for his constituents.
Yes. And on this, well, actually, let me do a rewind really quick. So previously, when we talked about T.I.,
Mm-hmm.
it was again in the context of his daughter or raising daughters and how they think men should raise daughters.
Yes.
And him talking about going with his daughter
To the Paps fan.
to the doctors to ensure her hymen
Amen.
or her cherry was still intact.
Yes.
Obviously, that's problematic.
Go back
I don't
and watch
even need
that
to. Yeah, I don't need to get into that. So fast forward to a couple weeks back.
He kept that same energy.
I think he had Lil Duval on
Yeah.
Expeditiously,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about. Let me read it specifically.
Yeah, come on, because
put on
short
your reading
niggas acting
glasses,
up.
Granny.
Short niggas acting up.
Yes. So they talked about spending quality time with his daughters and calling it "quote unquote" thought prevention hours. And his comments were in response to 21 Savage, who said he naturally feels more overprotective for his daughters than his sons, which T.I. agreed with.
Right, that's fair.
And he said because sons can't get pregnant, but their show can get somebody pregnant. I know that much. You can't keep her from running into one of them expletives. Me and Lil Duval.
I don't know what the word was.
Niggas.
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
girl. Oh,
Right.
Y'all know I don't like
The
that
N word, like sometimes.
Okay, whatever.
I was thinking like little fuckers or something.
Fill it in.
Okay.
Me and Lil Duval call it thought prevention hours. Keep your daughter off the pole. You spending time going to daddy-daughter dances and taking her on trips where it's just you and her. Those are thought prevention hours. So there's a lot to unpack there.
Unpack it.
So there's like the idea of like what it means, like spending
Quality
with
time
your,
to
quality
daughter.
time with your child, right? There's also the mentioning of like keeping her off the pole and like what that means, like how you are demonizing or like for
You
lack
making
of better
assumptions
words,
and
making-
stereotypes about women who strip.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a third part. I missed it. But I want to start with like the spending quality time with
Well, first, I want to talk about how I think what he took from 21 Savage and just ran with it. I don't think 21 meant it in that way at all.
But
What
he's
was I saying?
21 said
Oh
he
my
feels more overprotective
Of
of
his
his daughters
daughters
than his
and
sons,
sons.
which is a lot of men.
Yes,
That's
I
normal
I
to
can
me.
kind of understand that because you know what? I don't think enough people spend time raising their sons how to be right.
I don't,
There's a lot of predatory men out there, and so
Yes,
I would understand why
yes,
you would
I understand
feel-
that. I didn't interpret it
that
that,
way.
as
Oh, I
such.
did.
either.
Yes,
So what way did you interpret it as? Like you feel like you want to...
Like you just inherently, as a man, are more protective of your daughter than the son. I didn't think of why. I didn't go.
I didn't go to the
But,
details.
but
But
what I'm
it,
trying
it's
to unpack
true.
is because it sounds like they feel the same way, but is it like, are you overprotective of her in...
Because niggas ain't shit.
But
But are you trying to
they're
protect
two
her, or are
different.
you trying to prevent her from doing things?
Right.
Or are you
Well,
trying to
and
protect her from other people?
That's my point.
That's his point.
21 was like, I just want to protect my daughter. T.I. is like, I don't want my daughter to be a hoe. Like, it's two different things.
Okay.
It's just, yeah,
I think that's
the
a fair
reason for
assessment.
spending time with the daughter is very different.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know what 21 meant. But
don't
I think
either.
that's a fair
But,
assessment
yeah,
because I think
from
that's
what we-
probably...
we know what T.I. meant.
Clearly.
Yes, because that's what he keeps talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just that like investment in that way, and what your daughter specifically is doing with her body and chooses to do with her body is just weird to me.
Like, I just don't. Why can't he just spend quality time with his daughter?
Just because he wants to.
Right. Why you gotta like spend time with her just so she don't have sex? I don't under.
And my thing is like, do you not want grandchildren?
Well, Sonny? And just Sonny, she's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And he was surprised. All on camera. So.
Oh, when they announced
When she announced it.
pregnancy,
And
yes.
he had a whole attitude.
It don't make sense to me.
It don't work, clearly.
But I'm like, how about like talking to your son? Like the
Yeah.
whole thing about like,
Start
oh,
at the
the
root. That's
the
your
sons
third point.
can't get,
That's
oh,
your
the
third
sons
point.
can't get pregnant.
Right.
The household I was raised in, everyone was, well, they didn't like really tell me, cause whatever, but word on the street was, you do not bring no child, you don't get nobody pregnant, and you don't come up in here pregnant.
Right, don't
like
bring
that
no
was
babies home.
Don't bring no babies home. That was across the board. It wasn't about guys or girls.
Right. And that's not even his point either. It isn't about the babies. He just don't want his daughter out here and being a hoe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing to unpack. Like, being a hoe. Is having sex, does that make you a hoe?
I
It depends on how many
honestly
people
like.
you have sex with in a certain amount of time.
Okay.
That's what
fair.
makes
Okay, but it sounds like
That's
he
fair.
doesn't want his
But
daughter to explore her sexuality in
I don't-
any capacity.
That's what it sounds
You don't
like,
have to
but
be a
like.
hoe.
No, but no. Go
No.
ahead.
That's what it sounds like, but thinking about it, like from what I can think about it from my point of view, I don't know specifically how or explicitly how he's thinking about it, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on the smallest of bits and say that he's like looking at how all these Instagram girls are and how that girl is that's been doing that interview saying she sucked every dick for the Phoenix Suns
That's
team.
a very
and shit like that.
extreme
Oh, that one
girl.
Black Widow or whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know her name.
But she like
Oh,
had interviews
anyway.
saying like she sucked all the Phoenix Suns dick and all this shit, and like I think after seeing so much social media shit like that, he doesn't want his daughter to become that, and the way he's saying it is completely wrong. But I want to
But
say
if that's what
what
she
he means.
chooses to, I'm not saying anyone wants
That's
that
a bit
person.
much.
Okay,
No,
but
like-
here's my thing. I'm not, but when you get to a certain, she's an adult, right? That
True, but I
person-
still want my daughter to be sucking
No,
niggas,
you don't want
all
her
these
to-
niggas
you
dicks.
don't
I mean,
want
I
her
get
to-
it. You gonna suck a dick in your life. I
couple.
understand.
You don't want her to do that, but a lot of times people end up in those ways, not just because of their household. Shit happens outside of the house that you
That influences
ultimately
you,
don't
yeah.
have control over.
I think he's just trying to like get to the root of the daddy issues thing. And,
Yeah.
And he's going about it wrong and saying it wrong, but I want to say that's his main point. Like, 'cause, you know, a lot of, I don't mean to generalize, but you know, a lot of women have daddy issues, just like a lot of men have mommy issues.
A lot of men have daddy issues.
That
Most
too.
people have daddy issues.
That's because daddies ain't shit.
Not that daddy. I mean, there's a lot
Or
that we can
absent.
trace this. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
uh-huh.
you got
So
the
you
whole
ain't
crack
shit.
Because
cocaine
like
epidemic.
yeah, like that's what people say. Like a lot of people end up being prostitutes or strippers or like in gangs, a whole bunch of different things that aren't beneficial for them. It's stemming from like their family unit and like
not
a
having
father
positive
being
role models.
a father being absent in there. It's not because like some mothers just don't have time to also do all the
Everything.
stuff and be present all the time.
I don't think any parent,
Any
mother
like
or
any one
father,
parent,
single
yeah,
parent,
yeah,
can
but
do
we're
everything.
talking about
They
like
try.
black households specifically, usually the mama who got to do everything.
Yeah.
So I just think like it's that lack of another like parental unit there to like just there to like guide and like teach children to to influence them, give them the values and morals they wish to instill in them.
So I have a question for y'all.
Okay.
If you are so blessed, and if you would like to have children, you have sons and daughters. Are you raising your sons differently from your daughters and vice versa?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That was a real strong yes. So I would love for you to unpack that.
Well, just like in the society we live in, for one, men and women are treated differently.
That's true.
So my child
to.
needs to know, like, when they go, I can't have them oblivious.
Especially
How
as a
they-
black woman,
Yeah.
like, you gotta let her know that she has to fight the battle twice as hard than my son does. You have to raise
But-
them differently.
Is that raising them differently, or are you because technically you would be teaching them the same thing? Because wouldn't you want your little black boys to also?
Go as hard, yes, but also
For black
realize
women.
that you still have privilege as a man.
Oh yes, that's true. But I'm saying like you would also want them to understand the plight of the black woman too, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So like you're teaching them the same things, but would you actually like raise them?
But they wouldn't be
differently?
applying them.
I'm in the like same context as like T.I. with like this whole.
Oh no, I ain't
Because
I
if I'm not mistaken, didn't he like on his show like wasn't he like talking to one of his sons, and it was like real weird in regards to like him having sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it being like okay, whatever. Sort
Yeah.
of thing, and like you do that, you know, like that.
Yeah, like
But I
that
think for
part.
guys, it's like a badge of honor.
Yeah, especially in terms of sex, I don't foresee. You know, I'm got kids right now, but I don't foresee like me telling them like necessarily like different things. Sex, like I would, of course, tell my daughter like men are out here and the men are more predatory, like than women are over like young boys. So I would have to like give her that. You know, speech and like train her to be able to like navigate that. Whereas my son, I will have to train him a little bit differently in that space. It's like sometimes these women out here will try to like get you too, and also like you like consent is a thing. Like just because like you want it, well, that's kind of happening both ways. But especially for young boys who like are raised with like who have privilege as men and boys, they have to like you got to make sure like they say yes.
Yeah.
Like you need to tell them, you need to ask.
And specifically, you have to let them know that you cannot coerce a yes out of somebody. That's completely different. Like, especially with peer pressure from your friends and shit like that, you feel the urge to want to convince somebody to say yes. And that's something that we have to break for, you know, men growing up, because that's a thing. But they be like, oh, well, they say yes. It's because after so many times, they was just like, fuck it.
And I agree.
Yeah, and that's different. That's different.
Two different conversations. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that you brought up, and I think is important for both, is that adults in general can be predatory.
Yes.
Like, so you do have to give both your young
that talk for sure.
Boys and girls.
A lot of it goes across the board, but there are specifics that you have to teach differently to each one of them.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, the predatory, I would hammer that in on my daughter way like more than my son.
Yes, and I think the other thing that complicates is the intersectionality of race and gender. So like as a black man and a black woman, there are very specific things that you deal with in your life that other people of other races and ethnicities don't.
Right.
So like as a young black woman, for me, I realized very early on that my body was just like being sexualized in a way that I was like, whoa. It wasn't, and it was nothing I could control.
You had to be aware of that.
I had to be aware of it, right? And so like I can understand where a black father would want to be protective of their daughter in that way.
Especially with like social media and shit, people sexualize children at young ages. Like I saw a video on Twitter where a dad was in the tub with his daughter and people was like, oh no, that's out and shit like that.
How old was she?
I don't know. Like 3.
Oh. A toddler?
Yeah, she was hella small.
Oh, the age matters.
Yeah,
I mean it does matter. But I mean like
but
a
she was
toddler,
like,
she
was
weird.
like a really young age.
Oh,
and like
yes.
people sexualize kids at that age too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that shit is not, nigga, he's bathing his daughter.
Yeah.
In the bathtub. Like
that's normal.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, especially like as me, like, because I don't foresee like I having a daughter or son that a woman will even be in the picture to like raise my kid.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So me like navigating whenever the time is in place that comes is like totally different because I don't know.
Yeah.
There'll be aunties.
And there will be aunties, but you know,
but that's different.
It is.
Yeah, it is
different.
yes,
You know, it's
it
different.
is.
So like, I will have to like navigate, you know, that space, you know, very much so differently.
So one thing I do want to go back to, that was a very great conversation, gentlemen. I want to go back. I want to go back to this whole like thought idea, like what makes someone a thought, a hoe,
over there,
or whatever.
What makes someone a hoe?
Yes.
For of course, do we believe that people can be hoes?
I believe both men and women can be hoes.
Yes.
I do too.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
So we believe in hoes.
Yeah. Yeah, it ain't just a hoe ain't just stuff.
So the question is like, what makes someone a hoe? There's hoish behavior.
Yeah, there's hoish tendencies.
Yes.
Hoe tendencies.
Yeah, but just because you have hoish tendencies or behavior,
it doesn't make
you a hoe.
It'll make you a hoe.
That's true. That is true.
So what is a hoe?
I don't know.
See, but what is a hoe versus what is somebody who's just sexually fluid and open?
Oh, it's very different things to me.
To me too, because you can be fluid and open, but not like
sleeping around with a whole bunch of different people all the time.
What is all the time? So if you got 7 days out the week and you sleep with 4 different people in that week, are you
4 different people?
That's a lot.
That's a lot
to
of
me.
sexual partners.
In 1 week?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's you home.
Get it out.
You home.
I'm just asking because some people would say.
Because I think in the same, it's like you gotta go by days, weeks, months, and years.
Yeah.
But like in 1 day, to me, if you have sex with 2 different people in the same day,
I think that's the
that's
thing.
how-
That
In 1 day or in 24-hour period? Because some people were like, oh, well, that was last night. That was just
no,
morning.
I'll say a day, not 24-hour period.
So you can have sex with somebody at 10 p.m. and it be over before the new day, and have sex with somebody different at 8 a.m. and you fine. That's a 24-hour
No,
period.
here's my. I think the thing for me is like having sex with multiple partners at the same time within the same.
Friend group, the messiness of it. Is
No, don't mean
not
friend
friend
group,
group.
but just
She
like
was saying
having
the
sex
same
with.
time period.
Like it's one thing to have sex with one, maybe 2 people. You know what I mean? Like consistently, and like if you're having sex with one person all the time, it could be 20,000 times a day.
Yeah.
That's your business.
Right, that's different. That's not a hoe.
Yeah, no.
But
you
if
just
you're
want
having sex with multiple partners, that's where it gets kind of messy and also dangerous.
Well, then that's when you have to have the conversation. Are we having raw sex or protected sex?
But even with a condom,
But
you
that
can
matter,
still
still whole.
get lots of diseases.
I mean, yeah, no, I'm not saying.
I was talking about whole diseases. I'm like, it's different.
Well, she was just saying.
Well,
it
I'm
gets
saying
messy
like
because
when you
gotta
start to get
thinking
into the
about that.
whole territory, it gets a little.
Yeah, because my thing is like, if you like sleep with one person and you have sex with their best friend, how?
Yeah. And,
So I think
and you
it's
ain't
the
shit.
morals.
Yeah.
Morals come into this.
Okay.
I was like, because also not just the number of people in terms of the time, but it's also the who
Yeah.
behind it. Like sleeping with someone in order to like gain a certain thing.
So
it's
what
low-ish to me.
Like, what if you do that? What you just said? I have sex with this person. I have sex with their best friend, but because she said something to her best friend want to try. That make me a hoe because she approached me.
Yes.
just because it's okay. No, you said like,
Because you knew right. You knew better, and she knew better. Y'all both some hoes. Now, but however,
So now all 3 of us some hoes.
No, I don't think the girls are. They didn't do nothing.
But we had it right.
if that's your friend, why are you sleeping with her?
Because
the other girl in the
we
man
had it.
hole, but not me.
Right. We
Oh, no,
we
not
had
you,
sex,
not you.
And then
Just
she
the two
discussed
of
it
them.
with her,
Just the
and
two
now
of them.
she's like, "Yeah, girl, go try it."
It makes it worse when it's sneaky.
Wait.
That's making it real hole.
But what if she just like, "Yeah, girl, go try it"?
Not go try it.
It's
Coming
happening
back
out
to
there
TI
like
and
that.
his parenting.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
With that in mind, the way we broke down Ho, it makes me think of what he's talking about just like totally different. Like he really is talking about her just
Being a stripper.
like just
sleeping
having
around.
sex. I don't
Like
really
just
think
having
it's
sex with
because
one
of
person or with multiple people?
the fact like going to the doctors with her to ensure her hymen's still intact.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't.
just don't want his girl to have sex.
But like, and so what does that say about her ownership over her body?
Her father
right?
owns it.
Yeah, she don't own it.
Exactly. We live in a.
But then also,
man's-
which is crazy to me, is like, growing up, I realized the stricter the parent, the worse the child. Because now your child gonna
They
slip
wanna
off
rebel.
and do shit because they want to try shit.
Yes.
But it also worked both ways to me. Like some people, parents who don't have no type of rules, be ripping around the streets too.
That too.
There's a balance.
Yes, it's a happy medium to this.
But I think what's important is open and honest, like conversation. Like when, so I asked y'all the question about when you have young boys and girls, whatever, how you would raise them. Like I just want my kids to know they can come to me and talk about anything. Like I know y'all gonna. I can't stop you from thinking these things or wanting to explore them.
But I need to let you know what I think and what my morals and values for you are and what I
Absolutely.
expect.
I agree.
That should be clear.
I agree.
Like you can do what you want to do.
I agree.
But
I'ma
what
think
you
about it.
ain't gonna do.
No, yeah, I'm not talking about you can do what you want to do, but I
No,
want you to
at
come
the end of
talk.
the
You can, but I want you to come talk to me when you're contemplating doing something. Come have a conversation with me. I'm an adult. I've lived a lot
Yeah,
longer
got
than
more
you.
experience.
See, are you talking about the hymen piece or the thought piece? Like, don't call me every time you better be out here hoeing. I ain't
No,
got
no, no, no.
time.
I just want you. Okay, like when you are deciding you're ready to have sex, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the
The
different
birds and the bees.
contraceptives.
That conversation needs
there
to have way before. I think at that point the conversation is too late. I don't need you to come.
are. I think there's they probably had the conversation already, but they might not have had it with me, or like let's talk about it again. It never hurts to
I don't
reinforce
even know
it.
if I would want to know that.
when
No,
your
I don't need to
child
know
has
who you
sex?
doing.
I mean, about to, like,
No.
So
Like,
you wanna-
Rodney's coming over tonight, and I think this might be it.
I think
Not
I'm about to throw
that,
that ass.
Right. No, hell
I'm
yeah.
not having sex under my roof. No.
Well, we're finna go do it in the car.
You're not doing that
Right. Like, you don't have to tell me.
So
Okay,
do you
that's
want to
fine.
know after?
Yeah, that's fine. You can know me after, but before.
No. I just want to have the conversation and make sure you're protected and you're being smart, you're making wise choices, like you were talking about with talking to your son about consent and things like that, and your daughter about consent. Like, I think that's...
I mean, that conversation should happen way before the night happening.
Oh, no. So when I say when you're ready, it's not like, it's happening tonight. No, it's just like, you know...
Yeah, some people don't know they're ready until
it
it's the
happens.
time. Like, I think, like, you don't know when you're ready sometimes.
That's true, but I'm saying, like,
You can
when
do
you're
it and
of
still
a
not be ready.
certain age, let's put it that way. I'm not going to be talking to you about that in kindergarten.
At these days, you probably should.
No, but it is some conversation you do, like, not about, like, sex specifically, about, like, if someone touches you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like, it stages, like, to the conversation.
Yes.
You know, things happen earlier now than ever.
That's what I said.
That's
At
true.
that
I
point,
mean, they
you might
have
as well have a
access
conversation.
to everything on the internet.
Yeah, I'm like, 'cause, like, kids, like, start having sex age from, like, starting, like, early age 12. So, I know, it's sad, but it's the truth.
It is true.
So, like, conversations needs to happen, like,
Yesterday.
like, as soon as you, like, at 10. Like, this is what we about to talk about.
Yeah.
And some, you know, people feel uncomfortable having a conversation, but
It's
We
like...
grew up like that, though. Like, we talked about everything.
as you can tell.
Everything. So, I mean, that having those conversations was never uncomfortable for me. For my mom or my dad.
Right, 'cause I didn't know what the birds and the bees was until, like, a couple years ago.
Yeah. Because we didn't call it that. It was sex.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't any beating around the bush for
Yeah.
us either.
Not being on Yeah, we went straight to the point. But to what T.I. think, I don't necessarily think that would work.
No.
And also, like, what did this time spent with your daughter look like?
And I think we
Is
talked
it
about
around men at all? Like, we
Right, like, if you're shopping, like, I don't like, what did those THOT prevention hours entail?
Yeah.
I know, I'm like, and I think back of, like, me and my dad had, like,
THOT
daddy,
prevention
daughter.
hours?
No. Daddy, daughter. Like, it
It
was
worked
really,
well.
he's just like, you know, like, he's getting to know me as
As a person.
growing human being. Yeah, and, like, who I am, what I like to do, and, like, trying to water that. Not prevent me from having sex, which I'm eventually gonna do anyway. Like, what's the
It's a
point?
waste of time. Like, teach her how to be decent human being. Teach her, like, how to
Teach her how to stand up for
and
herself.
teach other men, like, how she would want to be treated.
Yeah.
That part.
Like, baby girl, do you want a man to do this for you? Like, you should want this. You should, like, advocate for yourself in this way. You might not want this. Like, you know, all that, like, if you want your chair, like, all that stuff. Like, your daddy's supposed to do that type of stuff for you. Your daddy's supposed to show you, like, how a woman is supposed to be treated.
Because
so
now
that's
all
what
she
those
knows is
hours.
obsessive men. Like,
Exactly. You just create this image
and
of, like,
controlling and obsessive. Like, I want my man to be like my dad. So you ain't gonna control shit. You go from your dad to your nigga, and you can't do a damn thing.
exactly. And I think we talked about this before too, but, like, there's, to a certain extent, like, a dad can't teach a daughter how to be a woman and vice versa, because they've never actually lived through the experiences of, you know, going through puberty as a woman and, you know, like, adolescence, all that stuff. Like, they don't know how a woman's... Men like to think they know, but you have no clue how a woman's body, and vice versa. So, like...
I think y'all's a little more complicated than ours. Just a tad bit. Ours ain't that bad. Let's be real. Y'all bleeding once a month. That right there. Y'all win.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Y'all win. I can't
like,
teach how to handle that.
I didn't just think in general, like, it's just very different. It's night and day. You can teach them how to be a good person, but, like, as far as, like, womanhood and...
Yeah, I guess like, if, like, some of those things, like, it'd be interesting to know, like, how, like, single fathers, like, deal with, like, raising little girls, because they, at some point, they have to, like, teach them how to be a woman.
You got to.
But are you teaching them how to
try.
be a woman, or are you just teaching them how to be
I think they're teaching them how to be a woman to the best of their ability. Like, they can only do so much.
Like, you have to raise a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, raise her into one.
You're raising a person, but at the
yeah.
end of the day, you're raising a woman. You have to.
You are raising a woman, but I'm like, having a conversation with your mom who has, you know, she got her first period.
Mm-hmm.
She might have been sitting in class and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Not
certain, but there's conversations you can have and there's a level of understanding there
Mm-hmm.
that I think helps facilitate like the lesson.
Yeah,
being
the
learned
lesson,
better than.
Yeah, it's like MC versus Timothy. Like
Mhm.
it's a difference. It's like a different understanding there. It's like I can watch the YouTube video if I can like teach my daughter or like
Yes.
call my mom or somebody on to like, girl, come up here, like help me or like tell me what to do.
Yes.
But it's not like an experience that I have occupied and learned. I can help you along the way, but it is a difference in like navigating that space. It's something you've been through versus something you know generally how it works. And that's like all types of like women, like being a woman in the workplace. Like I wouldn't be able to like teach you that. I can just tell you what I know.
Yes.
So, but you still would have to like prepare them for that.
So to wrap up Ti, I just think
Can we wrap Ti up?
He's a fucking moron.
Oh.
I think he well.
Oh.
That's just how it fit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of learning to do. I don't think you like age ain't.
At this point, can he learn? Is it gonna change?
I
don't think
hope
it is.
so, but clearly the red table talk didn't work. Cause wasn't he on there with Jada and them?
It didn't.
And it didn't
Are
work.
they even still doing red tape?
They are, cause they just ripped
Lori Law?
a new one.
Oh, okay. Watch it on YouTube.
Yes, but I mean, I think we unpacked everything there was to unpack there. I encourage everyone to continue this conversation.
Yeah, let us know what you think on the comments.
Yeah, leave comments, like, subscribe, clink that link.
Clink it.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts,
Yes.
Spotify.
That's what
At
it
Next
is.
Topic Podcast.
Yes, it is.
You can follow me at CoolKey, CoolKeyes on Instagram.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Shads_space. That's SHADS_SPACE.
You can follow me on everything at Clicks by Cam, KLICKSBYKM.
Well,
Toodaloo.
toodaloo.